Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We're here for Monday market moves, what happened last week in the markets, and what we expect for next week. And thank you for allowing me to do work that I find meaningful. Thank you for giving me the most valuable commodity you have, your attention. I promise to do my very best to give you a return on it. You'll notice in the background, we have a new calendar back here that you can actually read and know what day this was recorded. Pretty excited about that. It's the little things. Alrighty, let's go to the charts. Starting out as always with the S&P 500. Last week we thought that this was going to trade within the 50 and the 100 moving average, the yellow and the blue line. It did not, broke through the 50. Resistance is going to be around 52.70 or so, which would tap on all-time highs. Support is going to be around 51.50 or so. So looking to me like with this reversal bar on Friday going down, I would expect that we're probably going to touch the 50 moving average again. If you want a piece of the S&P 500, that might be a time to get in. If it goes through that, then the next real support is going to be the 100. The dollar is up about 1/4%, hanging right around 105. Kind of looking, I mean, there is a bit of a retracement here. Here, I'll just draw it. Okay, so it's hitting right on the 50% retracement there. Kind of looking like dollar's going to go up. So next level of resistance is going to be around 105.75, something like that. Right around that 20 moving average. 2-year yield up slightly, not a whole heck of a lot, up to 4.87. 10-year yield holding right at 4.5%, and the one we care about is the 10-year minus the 2-year yield, because when we get back to the zero line and recover out of that, we will exit clown world and move on to normal times where long duration debt pays more than short duration debt. And the one we care about is the 1-month treasury. Just keep them rolling over. And right now they're paying north of 5%, 5.37% on the 1-month treasury. TLT is up about 1/3% here. As soon as the Fed starts cutting rates, I think we're going to have a good time with this 20. And the story continues to be gold. Gold is up 2.7% this week. Last week it was at 23.08, closed the week at 23.75. Pretty incredible. Thought that we were going to have a little more correction in gold last week. That didn't happen. It just shot up, especially on Thursday and Friday. And I know we got a lot of new listeners. You guys have been emailing me about gold and silver, and you guys are new to the show. Welcome to the Hive. This may be one of our last chances to get into gold before another major breakout. So for the newbies here, you probably have done a little research on the monetary system, at least according to your emails. And yes, the monetary system is collapsing, and eventually the dollar will go to its inherent value, which is zero. But that's not going to happen in our lifetime. So this is how we can make money from it in the meantime. Start with a physical position, start with your bars and coins of silver and gold. There's a link in the show notes below. It says gold and silver Steve style from Andy Sheckman at Miles Franklin. He's the cheapest deal I've ever found on the stuff. Start with that. And then after that, I'll show you as we run through the gold portfolio here, how I allocated it and how I started, and if you care. All right, gold to Dow ratio. This one is pretty exciting. Okay, so I'm going to go out to the monthly here. And basically what we're doing here is we're taking an ounce of gold and dividing it by the Dow Jones Industrial Average. All right, so we can see this goes back to the 70s. In the 80s, when we had the radical inflation, gold drastically outperformed the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it even reached a point to where you could exchange 1 ounce of gold for 1 share of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right now, the Dow Jones is just shy of 40,000 and gold is just north of 2,000. So, 6%, one ounce of gold will buy you 6% of the Dow Jones. I think that ratio is going to reverse. Eventually, the answer will be we sell our paper gold on the stock market here and we rotate it into the Dow Jones. We got a long way to go. I think that this is a cycle that's going to repeat, and one that we can capitalize on. But right now, the bet is gold. It's not the Dow Jones. Gold to the S&P 500, still sitting at 0.45, waiting for it to get up to half, which would be 0.5. Hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will happen in the next few months. I think it will. And GLD, our put on that is just getting absolutely crushed. It's probably going to expire worthless. But the rest of the portfolio is doing amazing. All right, so for everyone that has been emailing me, this is how you can start off. This is how I would start off. This is how I did start off after getting your physical position. You can move into this. This is an easy one. You can do PHYS just for gold. You can do PSLV just for silver, but I like this one because it's both. It's about 2/3 gold and 1/3 silver. And so basically this is a warehouse full of pallets of bars of gold and silver, and you're buying shares into that and buying ownership into that. Let me share their website here. So this is the Sprott Physical Gold and Silver Trust. And you can actually see right now it's at a little bit of a discount. So you can get $23.15 worth of gold and silver, but it only costs you $22.04. Not a bad deal. Assets, total assets are almost 5 billion. And that's how many ounces of gold. That's how many ounces of silver. And I think down here it even says the exact allocation. Yeah, okay. So yeah, basically 2/3, 67.7% gold and 32% silver. Real easy way to establish a physical position in gold and silver, and you can do it all under one ticker. So if you start with that, then maybe you want to move on to the miners. GDX, I don't really see any buys in this right now. This one is up 5.5% for the week. We had a golden cross here, super bullish, and that ironed out because look, it went down from 32 up to 36. But look, we've got a quadruple top here. If it breaks out of here, man, it's tough for me to bet those just because the technicals are so stretched. I would expect a little bit of a correction here, and that might be your entry point. This is an ETF of a bunch of gold miners, some of the biggest ones on the planet. And it's a real easy way to bet on gold miners, get a whole basket of them. You know, they take a little bit of a management fee, but it's either that or you do it yourself. And, you know, kind of sit back and go fishing for the next couple of years. So I'd expect a correction next week in GDX and also with GDXJ. GDXJ is up 6.5%. So this is junior gold miners. So this is more risky than the other one, GDX. Also would expect a correction here. Usually when you get a run up like that and then a reversal bar like that, what's coming is a correction. Franco-Nevada. Now, this is the best gold royalty company on the planet. Had a gift back here when the little fiasco in Panama happened. Fully expect that to come back online. But it's looking like the market is finally realizing that that was a deal. We had a moment in time here that lasted probably about 3 months where we could have got into that for pretty cheap. It's getting up to what I believe to be fairly priced. I think fair value is around 130 or so, and we're right about there. Maybe if it comes back down to this 200 moving average, that might be an entry point. But look at the technicals here: RSI way up high, MACD, stochastic way up. I don't see an entry into this one right now. Up 4% for the week. Wheaton Precious Metals, second biggest royalty company on the planet. I had a huge wick up and then shot back down. Would really expect this to correct back down. You've got resistance up at 57 and support around 54. Gold Royalty Corporation. This is our favorite gold royalty play on the planet. It's new though. You know, you don't have the time that the other ones have. As far as an entry here, I think we said last week that limit order around 180 should be good. That hit, so hopefully you got in. But see, all this is it's a triple bottom. You got one here, 2, 3. Although we would have loved to see this go up just a little bit more, maybe to like 184, then we'd be a lot more confident that this is going up. This is actually kind of at risk of breaking down. So next limit order, I would say, would be around 172. And then Metalla Royalty, kind of going up the risk curve. is this is a royalty on gold and copper. It's up 3% for the week. As far as an entry, kind of want to see, I mean, you could have a stink bid down here around $2.40, but that's probably not going to hit. I'd like to see this get up above the 50 and the 200, and that might create kind of a little bit of an entry point here. Looks like we're going to get a golden cross, which will be pretty bullish. Origin royalties. Okay, going way up the risk curve here, but also could pay off a lot more. I love this one. It was up 8% last week, 13% this week. This is what we call a bull flag breakout. So we had this run up, just ground sideways for a couple of months, and set limit orders right around here for 62 cents, and bam, it paid off. Look at that. I mean, I know some of you guys had limit orders down here at 62 cents. I mean, 28%. Well done in just a couple of weeks. So don't see any entries on this. You know, we want to wait for a pattern to form again, just like we had here for, you know, a month and a half, and then we can find another entry into this. But the Merlin deposit update looks fantastic, and the market replied. Barrick Gold, like this one a lot. Let's see. Okay, so we're saying that anywhere around this 50 and 200. So if you got an entry right here on this golden cross, I think you're going to like that entry a lot over the long term. And we got a question here from Germany, Zeitgeist. Here is your fan from Germany. Well, welcome to the, thank you very much. Got some competition for Wolfgang. What is a stink bid? He says, I think it is a point that is normally not possible, but with good luck, why not? In Germany, we call that an Austerbuy-Limit, but the translation is Duster Limit. Maybe you have more information for me. As I told you for months, every Sunday, I'm on your show. Thank you. That means a lot. There we go. That means a lot. You know, the more thumbs up you guys give, the more comments you make, the more live chat during the show. Every time you share these videos with someone, YouTube keeps track of that. Watching the videos all the way to the end, it tells the algorithm to push this out to more people and put it up on their suggestions list. Right now we're at 8,500 subscribers, and if we're going to impact millions of people like our mission statement says, then we need people that think the answer is Tesla to realize, because you guys have shared this, that the answer is commodities. Eventually the answer will be Tesla, but it's certainly not right now. Those people are going to get crushed, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so, especially the way gold has been performing. So thank you very much. Here is your example of a stink bid. All right, so this Barrick Gold. So we got in an entry up here around 17 bucks. We're just riding that 200 moving average, broke down through that. And then we got again on this pullback, lining up right there with around 16 bucks. And then we started setting limit orders. So we set one limit order here for 15.50, simply lining up back here. That hit. And at the same time I put this limit order in, I put in another one down here for $14. That was the stink bid. I didn't think it would actually get to $14. In my mind, a stink bid has an odds of hitting of maybe 15%. Like you said, how did you say it? It's a point that is normally not possible, but with good luck, why not? It doesn't hurt you to put a stink bid in there. If it doesn't hit, does it, you know, whatever, who cares? If it does, then you got into a company at a ridiculously cheap price. You know, it's pretty cool when it does hit. So that's what a stink bid is. I hope that helps. All righty, and Newmont is up 4.25%. Just a little bit of marketing rebalancing here. Had some great earnings. And as far as a pattern for an entry, I mean, would like to see it stay above this 400-day moving average. I don't know, but we're about to get a golden cross here. There's a lot of those going around right now. But major level of support is going to be around 37, although I don't think that will hit. Agnico Eagle, our little darling here, is just absolutely killing it. Up 5%, just defying gravity every single week. Had a great earnings call as well. Don't see any entries into this. We're going to want to see some technicals correct. RSI 72, MACD way up here, stochastic 88. So need to see some correction here, but this is just a long-term hold for the duration of the bull market. And B2 gold up 11%. The limit orders we talked about a couple of weeks ago at 250 hit, 240 did not. Yeah, I don't see any entries here, but hopefully you got in at 250 and you should be sitting quite pretty. What is that percentage move here? Let's see, 250 up. Yeah, about 10%. So well done. G Mining Ventures, love this company. They're still developing. They are on pace to start production here in second half of 2024. I think their date was, they're shooting for August or September. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, especially going in line with Lobo Tigre's pre-production sweet spot. If you guys didn't see the episode with Lobo Tigre, I'll put a link up here right now so you can watch it. I think it's one of the better interviews I've had. Just super smart guy, and a lot of free material. I mean, he's got put the odds in your favor with the pre-production sweet spot. You can download it for free. Pretty cool. Anyhow, G Mining Ventures, don't see any entries except for limit orders around 155. I think if you just kind of hit that, I think you'll be pretty happy with before they start producing. Rio 2. The cup and handle is playing out, and it broke out. Check that out. So we've been talking about this cup and handle for months. Had a limit order in down here for 30 cents. Closed the week at 35.5 cents on the OTC. And now the cup and handle's finally broken out. So that's pretty exciting. One fundamental that may not comply with that, they've got a meeting on May 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Check your email if you're a shareholder, or you can just go to their website. It looks like they're going to be, they got to raise some cash. So in order to do that, I think they're going to be issuing shares. And Tony says, thank you so much for the comment on EXK. Do you have any views on Nova Gold? Okay, so I don't know anything about this company. Let me look at the financials real quick. Okay, so just shy of $1 billion. About 2/3 of the share count is available to retail. Let's see, exploration company. All right, so they're spending money. Entry points. I would have said the 50 moving average, but it blew through that. So we need to find a support line beyond that. Let me go out to the weekly. Well, maybe kind of where, I mean, there is a fair amount of price action around where we are now. Again, this is an exploration company, so you're literally pouring money into holes in the ground and guessing what's going to come out of there. I'm going to say a limit order around 240. There is an argument here for a retracement, but I really like double bottoms, and I would prefer to see a double bottom either here in that retracement, which would be around, what is that, 275, 270 or so. But I think the limit order I would place is somewhere, maybe around 230, 235, somewhere in that range. All right, hope that helps, Tony. And silver up 6.8% for the week. Just awesome, shot above 28. And yeah, so pretty exciting. Close the week at 28.50. Move the line so it stays. What did I mean? So we're at, we had this $26 line right here. So we are going to edit that, and we are going to move it up to 30 again, because if we move this line right here up to $30, then now it'll trade in between 28 and 30 instead of 26 to 28. So it needs to obey that line, and hopefully it does. But strong close this week, looking fantastic for silver. We just hope that it can stay in this range. Technicals are a little bit stretched though, but we like that the RSI broke above this yellow line here, that 14 average, and yeah, looking fantastic. Gold to silver ratio. So this is pretty interesting. Okay, so we've got this definite trend line right here. Another way to look at this is the silver to gold ratio. This is just an inverse of it. This is actually kind of compelling. So it looks to me like this is going to say that silver is going to get cheaper in relation to gold. I would expect it to bounce off this line again and go up, creating a higher ratio, making silver cheaper in relation to gold. Remember, they could both go up, but as long as gold goes up more than silver, then this ratio will continue to expand. I suppose there is a risk of this breaking down, but with the action on Friday, it looks to me like it's going to go up as far as like gold getting, although when you do look at gold, it looks like gold might come down and silver go up. I don't know, but this is just something to keep an eye on. I'm not really sure how to trade this. SILJ looking fantastic. Pretty exciting, up 7.5% for the week. I don't see any entries into this. As a matter of fact, if you have a trade on, now might be the time to take some profits. Yeah, I'd like to see this consolidate, settle down a little bit. You've got some resistance right back here. See how it went up to this point, and that lines up perfectly right back here and right back here. That's not a coincidence. That's where the algorithms see it. That's where traders just like you and I see that, and then it shoots back down. So resistance is going to be right up there around $12.20. Support, your first level of support is going to be around there, maybe like 11 bucks. Pan American Silver, 11.5% up for the week. They had an amazing earnings call, and I drew in this cup and a handle pattern, I think on Monday, and I was excited to talk about it today, and the darn thing shot up before I could tell everyone. So anyways, there it is. I mean, what good does that do you after it's happened? But yeah, cup pattern, handle, broke to the upside, so it broke higher than this right here. That is a breakout, and would expect Pan American Silver to continue up. So over the long run, if we run out this cup and handle pattern, then we take the low here to the high on the right side, and that's about $8.50. We're sitting at $20, and we'll call it 50 cents. So that would be a measured upside move about to $29. SILV, Silvercrest. Love this company. Took about a fifth of our original bet off the table just because it's run up quite a bit. But if silver continues to go up, then this will go up more. Very excited about this one. And EXK, look at that one. Oh my God. Just Golden Cross shot up. I was talking to David Skreek over the phone the other day, and we were just dissecting some of these companies, and he's going to be coming on the show towards the end of the month. Yeah, heck of a call here with Endeavor Silver, and it just keeps on climbing. And copper, paging Dr. Copper, up 2.5% for the week. Last week it was at 455. Right now it's at 466 to close the week. I don't really see any entries into this at all as far as that commodity. And then a lot of the ones we've been betting on here, COPX, you know, it's just getting pretty stretched. It did blow through some pretty impressive resistance right here. So this resistance going back May 2021, and then another one in April 2022, and we now broke above that. So that is extremely exciting. You know, still have some more to the upside here before we hit all-time highs, but our next resistance line is going to be around 52 bucks. So pretty exciting for copper. If Lobo's right, and you know, this gets hit in a recession, you know, we may want to trim all or some of our positions in this if it looks like a recession is imminent. But in the meantime, we're making money. COPJ up 3% for the week. And again, don't see any entries. We got a triple top right here. We'll see if that breaks. Hopefully it does. And Robert and J Hat sent us two copper ETFs. So this is Sprott Copper Miners ETF. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't even know about this one. It IPO'd not that long ago. This has only been around since March. In order for me to get into something like this, I'm going to need to see some kind of pattern, and maybe that's kind of like infantile with these ETFs. You know, just track the commodity, and if you think it's cheap, then buy into it. But I just can't help myself as a TA to be looking at the charts here. So as far as this one, this has $24 million in assets under management. Their expense ratio is 0.65. So for every $10,000 you invest, they take $65 a year. And then the other one they mentioned here is ICOP. I think this is run by BlackRock. This one only IPO'd less than a year ago. I mean, you could have treated this just like COPX and COPJ like we did and just buy on these pullbacks. We've had such a run up here. I don't see a bettable pattern, but this is another one. 0.47 is their is how much they charge per year. So for every 10 grand, it costs you $47 and 17 million under assets under management. COPJ has about 10 million under assets under management, and COPX is just the biggest one on the planet. That one's got 2.25 billion, I think is what it was, 2.28 billion assets under management, and the expense ratio is 0.65, so $65 per 10K. COPJ is $75 per 10K. So those are some other options if you want them. I like COPX, simply it's got the biggest market cap. It's not a total pure play on copper, whereas these other ones are, but yeah, I like it. Oh, Arizona Metals. Arizona Metals is down 4% for the week. If you had limit orders in around 153, that might have come within a penny of hitting, but hitting right here on the 100 and the 50 moving average, I think this level is probably going to, what does that look like? It's going to hold that reversal bar. It looks kind of ugly. I'm 50-50 on this coin flip. Okay, so maybe it gets back down here to like 149, 140, 148, somewhere in that range. But I think a limit order to like kind of around where we are now is pretty good. Uranium. Close the week 91.25, so down just slightly, but looking fantastic. I mean, since we've had that sell-off, you know, we were down in the low 80s, now we're in the low 90s, and the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust is flat for the week, but it's actually trading at a premium again this week, and guess what they did? They bought more uranium. So it was 400,000 pounds added this week. We are just shy of 65 million pounds of uranium taken off the market. Love this. Almost 6 billion in uranium sitting in warehouses, unavailable to the utilities. So pretty incredible. Yeah, I love this. I think this is going to continue to do amazing. And if Lobo's right, this one should be recession proof. I don't think he meant that the miners are recession proof. I think he meant the commodity itself is recession proof. I should have clarified that with him, but that would be my guess, and that would make sense to me. Okay, someone asked about a what was it? Because if we got a cup and handle here, maybe let me run the retracement and see. Possibly, yeah, okay. I guess I could see a cup and handle there. I mean, the one thing I don't like about this is see how this broke below the 50% retracement. So once the handle breaks below the 50% retracement, then it kind of negates the pattern. It did only do it for one day, but I don't like that it closed that day below the 50%. Although it went back up after that, you know, maybe we can give that one a hall pass. But yeah, I guess I could see a cup and handle here. It's not perfect. It did hit right there on the 100 moving average. So I guess that's saying something. I would much rather see that it closed above that, but maybe I'm just getting a little bit too nitpicky on this. Up 5% for the week. Kazatomprom is up, I think it was also 5%. No, 4.5% for the week. The 50 and the 200 moving averages are going to be the ones you want to pay attention to. So I think any approaches to this line of $38.50 for an entry point, I think is pretty good. just set a limit order, the one hit back here, and then it also hit back here. So, eventually that will probably come, and this company pays really good dividends. Pretty cool. All righty, and Mick says, this was a question for Lobo. Didn't get a chance to ask him, but I think I can go into it here. He says, are we entering the developer and junior outperformance phase of the uranium market? Yes, we are, and we have been for some time. So if we take URNJ and divide that by URNM, so if the chart is going up, that means that the juniors are outperforming, that means that URNJ is outperforming URNM. And if we take this tick back here, so if you were able to catch the bottom, now if you bought this when it IPO'd, then and you bought it way up here or here, then no, it hasn't outperformed for you. But if you caught the bottoms down here, then yes, it is. And so if we take this one back from a year ago and run it up, URNJ has outperformed URNM 7%. Now here's another interesting one. So what I did here is I took Kazatomprom and Cameco and added them together. So if you bought equal dollar amounts of Cameco and Kazatomprom, and we'll take this date right back here, March 23rd of 2023, and those two combined made 81%. Now, here's where it gets exciting. We're going to take URNJ and divide it by Cameco and Kazatomprom added together. So if the chart goes up, URNJ is outperforming those two major miners, right? And we can see if we take this right back here, this one will take the low in April of 2023, so basically a year ago, run it up. URNJ is outperformed 18%. Okay, so you made an extra 18% by just putting your money in URNJ instead of betting on Cameco and Kazatomprom. Now here's another one. This is URNJ divided by Cameco, Kazatomprom, and the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. And we'll take that same point back in April, run it up, and it outperformed almost 15%. Okay, so the juniors here are outperforming the metal and both the major miners combined, right? So yeah, I would say if you're going to bet on this, I think we're entering the phase now. We had the phase where the commodity itself, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, was just blowing everything out of the water. Then we entered the phase of Cameco and Kazatomprom, Cameco outperforming them. And now I think we're in the phase of where the juniors are going to outperform the majors and the metal itself. And so Sergio says, I've got URNM rolling off my short-term hold to long-term hold, so I'm going to liquidate the profits. What do you like in uranium? I'm thinking UROY or SRUUF. Well, after this, Sergio, I think I responded, yeah, I kind of like that, but if you're going to get SRUUF, I wouldn't buy it when it's at a premium right now. I would wait to see if we can get into one of those discounts before. We've had many of them in the past where it gets north of 10%. And I like those as times to buy. I don't like buying it at a premium. I like buying it when it's on sale. But maybe that moment won't happen again. I don't know. I can't see the future. But that's what I would be looking at if you're going to get into the physical commodity. And as far as I like UROY, but I'm liking URNJ better, just for the reasons that we outlined right here. So, good on you for waiting a year and not having to pay Uncle Sam any more than you have to. No matter how much you pay Uncle Sam, it will never be enough because he is drunk and insolvent, and he will spend more than you give him and put the rest into debt and on our children's credit cards. So pay him as little as you possibly can. All right, URA up 2% for the week. Looking pretty good. We got support is going to be around $27. So we got some nice support down here around 27, and we also got some nice support down here around 29. Those would kind of be what I would be looking for as entry points. Set your limit orders. URNM is up 1% for the week. I still think a limit order around $50 is pretty good, although we might not get there. Pay attention to this 50 moving average here. Not a huge fan of trend lines here, but maybe just around the around that 50 moving average, which would be around $51, something like that. URNJ. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot about this one. Okay. So if we go back here to Cameco, and Kazatomprom added together. So remember we said it was 81% from this date in March, 81% for the two of those combined. If we go to URNJ down here and we go to that same date, March, what was it, 24th, I think? Yeah, March 24th, and we run the same thing. Now we're up 103%. Okay, so for every $100 that you gave equal amounts to Kazatomprom and Cameco, you made $81 in that time frame, and for every $100 that you put into URNJ during that same time frame, you made 103. All right, so outperformance of the juniors and developers. I like that going forward. So as far as entry points onto URNJ, we missed one right back here, although we already have a lot of this thing. I don't know that we need more, but I'd be paying attention right here to this 50 moving average, somewhere right around there. As far as back support, anywhere around 25 bucks, and call it a day. UROY, okay, so closing at $2.54, up 3% for the week. I still see the support back here as around 235. And Energy Fuels is up 6% for the week. Support is still going to be around $5.20. But what is awesome is we just broke through and closed above the 50-day moving average. So this is pretty exciting. Would like to see this one continue up. Denison Mines, this is one of our higher conviction ones, although I like UROY, I think, just a little bit more. It feels a little safer to me, but maybe I'm off. Okay, close the week at $2.07. Down about 2.5% for the week. I'd be paying attention to this 50 and 100 moving average. If we look back here, that 50 moving average has just been obeyed for about a year. And I mean, with the exception of this, 3 weeks here or so. But yeah, I think any pullbacks around this 50 moving average would be nice entry points, so that'll put you around $2, some kind of around where we are now, maybe some stink bids down here for like 190. And NextGen had had some bad news. They've been spending a lot of money, and the market did not like it. Closed the week down 13%, but is lining up with some back support back here. Closed the week at $7.20. We were watching this thing and even an interview with Warren Irwin about it, just all down here around $3.50. Never pulled the trigger, could have had an easy double, just didn't do it. I mean, it was just one more company we'd have to study, but I guess we should have pulled the trigger. Hindsight's 2020. Okay, so entry points into this. I want to see some kind of sideways action, see what the market digests of this. Stochastic, MACD, RSI. RSI is kind of middle of the road. Want to see it sell off a little bit more. Maybe it'll get lucky and it'll hit this 200 moving average, which would be around $6.75. Global Atomic up 5% for the week. Maybe stuff's kind of getting ironed out in Niger. The Americans are getting kicked out and the Russians are moving in. So I don't know if we'll get sanctions on this. I'm not sure what's going to happen. That's the risk that's getting priced into the market. That's what that was right there when the Americans said, you know what, I guess we don't need this drone base in Niger. So that is Global Atomic. We're in this one for free, so I'm not too biased. GVX, never got into this one, but it shot up 20% for the week. Market like that. I don't see any entries. Maybe now that we have this established, a little bit of a floor here, maybe a limit order around 6 cents or so. But both of these are really, really, really risky. And crude oil, basically flat for the week. Had a golden cross out here that did not iron out. So look, the golden cross happened right here, and then oil fell down. Just hanging right around that 100 moving average. As far as any support, you got a little bit down here around 77. But the real support is going to be down around, well, I mean, the 66 is real support. I don't think it'll get down there, but we'll see. RSI is getting pretty sold off. So is MACD, so is Stochastic. So would expect a reversal here pretty soon with oil. XLE up 1.3% for the week. just hitting right on that 50 moving average. If you don't have any position in oil, this might not be a bad time to do it. Technicals aren't super sold off yet, but if it looks like the RSI is going to break above right here, that 14 moving simple moving average, which is a pretty bullish sign. But maybe a limit order on this one around like 92, something like that, but maybe I'm just being cheap. And ExxonMobil, our favorite oil company on the planet, has a dividend coming up like clockwork every quarter, 95 cents. They keep increasing them. Love this company a lot. Had a little bit of a bad earnings call, not terrible, but just a little smidge. And hitting on this 50 moving average. So there might be some entry points along this 50 moving average. I got a huge position in Exxon back when it was super cheap, and I don't really have any plans on adding more, but there it is if you want it. Blackstone Minerals limit orders are set. We had one down here for $16. I think I got it at $16.01, and then we got more limit orders: $15.75, $15.50. and $15. So I don't know if that'll hit, but back here it didn't look like it would hit, and it did. Back here it didn't look like it would hit, and it did. So like Blackstone a lot. They pay amazing dividends. I mean, here, let me just show you their dividends. I mean, look at that, like 47 cents quarterly. It went down a little bit, went to 37.5, but still their yield is like around 10% at that if they continue that. So pretty good. And for the Canucks north of the border, freehold royalties down 2% for the week. But check this out, lining up with some back support right here. So there's a lot of price action right around $13.50. I think that would be a pretty good limit order. And then maybe like a stink bid around $13.25. And Woodside Energy up 4% for the week. We said back here this was at risk of breaking down. It did. It looks like it hit a bottom and bounced up. So hopefully we got some pretty good candles right here. And then that one looks to the downside. So hopefully it doesn't comply and this one moves on up. But I like this company for their dividends quite a bit. Rick is still doing some work on it. Natural gas up 5% for the week. Shot above the 100 moving average. Closed the week at $2.25. This is natural gas divided by oil. So we can see historically how cheap natural gas is compared to the other hydrocarbon oil. And I mean, we were touching on like all-time lows back here, going back 12 years, just hit on it. And the way we're betting on this is Devon Energy. And as far as an entry point, no, not really. Want to see these kind of reverse a little bit. Want to see the RSI really get in the toilet. Maybe we'll get lucky and get down to here to the 200 and we might make another entry. Equitable, still got our pipe dream limit order in here for $33. Broke down on Friday. They just paid a dividend. Not a fantastic one, but it's not terrible. And broke through the 200 moving average and kind of settled right on the 20 moving average. So I expect that this is probably going to continue down. Next level of support is going to be 38.25, and then after that, around this 50 moving average, around 37.25 or so. And Gustavo says, Steve, you forgot to see NFE. Okay, so you probably put this in last week and I missed it. And I apologize, sir, because it looks like, at least, what day was that? So I would have seen it on that day. No. I would have seen it right there. And I think I would have said, yeah, around there was a pretty good entry point. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm lining up these back ones right here. Okay, so some back support right around there, which would be somewhere around like, we'll call it $26. So it closed the week up $26.90. So maybe a limit order around there, around $25.75, $26, something like that. I think will get you started. All righty, and thermal coal closed the week at $142.50. Met coal just holding flat, $244. The coal ETF, so we want to see this thing get sold off. Hopefully it does. Maybe we'll make another entry point here around the 50 moving average. I think I'm going to move these limit orders up. What's interesting about this one, check out this volume here on, what day was that? That was on Monday. So most of these volumes are very tiny. So like this, I'm looking right at, if you go right up here. So this volume right here, 1.1 thousand shares, 1.2 thousand shares, 2.5 thousand shares, 4.7 thousand shares. And this one was the biggest volume trading day that this ETF has had to date, over 80,000 shares. So one buyer came in and bought up a lot. Well, maybe it wasn't just one buyer, but some big money came in and moved into this thing and dumped a bunch in there. Last week we had 5.5 million in assets. Now it's up to 7.3 million. So big buyer on Monday. Money is moving into this thing, which is fantastic. And it's just kind of reinforcing our bet that, if this does get sold off, as far as like what Lobo was saying, in a recession, I don't know. I'm going with Matt Warder on this one. I feel like he exclusively studies the coal market. He helped put together this ETF. I'm gonna ride the coattails of that one on this one and stick with Lobo for gold and uranium for now. But very curious how this will do. I'm gonna keep adding to this. And on pullbacks here, maybe around the 50 moving average, I should probably start moving these limit orders up, or at least just keep them in there, but start adding some more right here around the 50 moving average. Alrighty, and Glencore up 4%. Remember, the dividends are going to suffer here for the next year or so until they can pay off that tech acquisition and then really start cash flowing a lot from that. Yeah, Glencore looks fantastic. Their dividends did suffer quite a bit, but that's okay. We're in this one for the long run. And feedback, and Danny. Feedback says, I bought the Alpha dip today. He's talking about Alpha Metallurgical Resources. Did you? And then Danny says, today AMR is $295. Looking forward to your next video to see if you pulled the trigger. Thanks for the video, Steve. Great channel. Thank you, Danny. Thank you guys for being here. And yes, I did pull the trigger. So got one in here for, what is that, 310. Got another one in here for 303. And then it broke below the 200 moving average, which is pretty exciting. Have our last and final limit order set for 275. Hopefully it hits. It looks like it will. When we break below this 200 moving average, that is pretty bearish. RSI is 35 MACD sloping down. Stochastic is in the toilet. Like that a lot. Would love to see this just waterfall sell off, and then our limit order will hit. And if it even gets lower, we'll probably buy more. Warrior Met Coal. I don't know if these limit orders are a complete pipe dream or not. I should probably move them up a little bit. First one is set here for 52.50. That's probably not going to happen. I should probably move this up to around 62 bucks, which would line up with these two moving averages, and then put the next one down here around 55, and then maybe the final one at like 52 as a stink bid, something like that. But we'll see. We still got about another month or so in the shoulder season here. So we'll see if these ones hit. And made some purchases here on BTU, Peabody. So got in at 21, basically 22 bucks, again at 22.22, and then threw an option on here. I debated actually pulling the trigger on the option, even though it's pretty long dated, just after only 2 days. Oh, I didn't put the date on here. I need to do that. It expires in August, not August, October. Basically, Matt Warder was tweeting out laser eyes for Vince McMahon when it got below 22 bucks. So this was going right in line with our strategy, and we bought. Bitcoin, as of today, May 11th, it is at 61,000, still trading in this, what I consider to be a bull flag. We'll see if this breaks out. And platinum is up 4.5% for the week. We've still got support around 925 and then again at 900, but closing above 1,000. Pretty cool. PPLT, I mean, you could trade this if you want. I don't think you can run options on it, but you could definitely trade it. And maybe you can run options. I've never looked at it, but there's not very much volume. I don't think I'd want to do that. Anyhow, Support as far as entry points around 85 bucks, maybe, you know, stink bids around $80. Still got to wait for Russian dishoarding to end. Palladium is up 3.5% for the week. We've got support around 935 would probably be the first level of support. And you can bet that using PALL. I like a limit order around 85. Sprott, Physical, Platinum, and Palladium Trust up 4%. I think limit orders around $9 are pretty good. We talked back here about how this could offer a trading position. I know Steve Penny threw in a trading position around 950. I'm, being the cheapskate that I am, was waiting for it to get down to 9, which didn't happen. So good on him, bad on me. But yeah, it looks like it's breaking up to the upside. So that, well done, Steve. Hitting on the 200 moving average right here, bounced above it and then just closed just below. So we might actually get a little bit of a correction here. We'll see. And NIKL. All right. This one's starting to run away a little bit, although I really expect that this is going to correct back down. Russia, along with selling their platinum, is selling a lot of nickel. The nickel mine in, where is it? Indonesia. I think it's Indonesia. They are pumping out a lot of cheap nickel, which is causing other miners to say, hey, we can't make any money if that's the going price of nickel right now. So they're closing their plant. So I think it's going to be a couple of years for this thing to iron out. In the meantime, you do get paid a pretty decent dividend. And I think we just need to accumulate nickel here on pullbacks. We got into this one at 1375, and this next limit order is down here for 1325. Iron ore down $2 for the week, closed the week at 116. Well, we'll call it 117, so down $1. BHP, so we tried running an option on this one, but it was just too pricey. Everyone, not only us, thought that BHP was going to go up, so the option was just too expensive for us to take it. But if you want some BHP, the biggest miner on the planet, you know, I think a limit order around 55.50, 55 bucks, somewhere around there is a pretty good deal. Rio Tinto just continues to climb and defy gravity. Love this one a lot, up 2%. Still got our pipe dream limit orders down here starting at $60. VALE. I was on the phone with Daniel and we were talking on this day right here, Tuesday, and we're like, do we get out of VALE? At options expiring, we should have taken it because we would have been up, I think, like 5 or 10% or something like that. And we just didn't pull the trigger. We thought that there was a chance that this was going to continue to run up. And then it went down. I think we're down about 5% right now. And that's the theta is really going to start eating away at this one. Just would love a pop here. But, you know, thought it would do better with this good earnings call, but it just really hasn't. So we'll see. And our last random option here, I think this one's going to expire worthless. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know fundamentally about this one. This was simply a chart trade here. Should have got out right up here, didn't. Down 10% on Friday. All righty, well, I hope you guys got something out of that. Upcoming guests, we have Rick Rule coming on the show next week. Go to our community tab in YouTube, and there'll be a post right there that says submit questions for Rick Rule. Submit all your questions there. We have Adrian Day coming up the following week, so that will be a fun one as well. Super excited about that. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support the show and future content like this, there's a link in the notes below. You can also try out TradingView for free. There's a link in the pinned comment below, and you can pull up the charts just like I've done here. You may not be able to have all the indicators for the free one, but I've got the middle version. It does everything you see here on the show, so that I think is more than enough. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe, and share this with anyone that you think needs to hear it. It's probably your buddy that can't stop talking about tech stocks. You have yourself a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you next time.